Welcome you all. I am Dr.M Bala, working as an assistant professor in Kamaraj College of Engineering and Technology. So today I am going to discuss on the topic of stages in design thinking. So these are all the contents which we are going to discuss in today's session. So the first one is we are going to discuss what is meant by design thinking and what are all the different stages which is involved in the design thinking process. So let me start with the first one, that is design thinking. So design thinking is one of the systematic approach to solve the complex problems. So as we are known, the complex problems, it is very difficult to solve. It is very difficult to find right solution for that complex problems. So in the design thinking approach is majorly helpful to solve the complex problems. So as first we have to think over the problems in the user perspective as well as the customer perspectives. Hence this design thinking concept is an human centric approach. It involves a process of understanding, experimenting, testing and iterating to create a solution that is more suitable for the users. So by using this design thinking process, so first we should understand what is the real problem. With the help of the users feedback, so we can do certain simple experiments to sort out that problems, and then finally we have to create a prototype, and it is that prototype is given to the user for further testings. So once based upon the testing, the user feedback, we are once again we have to reframing the process. So hence hence it is a iterative process. Finally we are getting a clear solution, so which is most suitable for the end user or a customers. So hence design thinking process is a customer centric approach, as well as it is one of a problem solving approach. So next we move on to the stages in design thinking process. So it majorly consists of 5 different stages. So the first one is empathize, and second one is define, and third one is ideate, fourth is prototype, and last one is the test part. So let me discuss one by one. So the first one is empathize. This is the first stage in the design thinking process, is to empathize with the end user. So once we have to getting a solution for a particular problems, so we should think over the problem in the end user perspectives. So at the same time we are always seeking to understand our end user needs. So once we should understand what are all the needs and expectation of the end users before going to take the solution for that particular problems. So let's see the way in which we can empathize the user. So there are several ways in which we can empathize our end users. They are engaging, observe, as well as watch and listen. So and then the second stage of the design thinking processes is to define. So during this stage, so the designer, so they are taking the informations that is gathered in the empathize stage and used it to identify the problems that is need to be solved. So from the in this stage, so the team they are gathering the informations from the empathize from the previous stage. So from that they are getting a clear cut idea about that particular problems. So they can clearly define what is the real problem. They can clearly define it at this stage. So there are various exercise or various techniques which is used to help to define the problems, that is creating personas as well as write up project briefs. So these two techniques, it's mainly helpful to define the problem statement clearly. So and then the third important stage is ideate. Ideate, it comes from the word idea. So here, so in this stage, so they are creating ideas that address the user's needs as well as to define brief from the previous stages. So in this stage, so they have to generating multiple ideas, so which is beneficial to the end users. So here they are collecting a lot of ideas for this projects. So here ideation is a judgmental free zones. In this, so they don't have pre-restricted mind. So they are just collecting getting the ideas from each and every person in a particular team. So it is the best stage for creating innovations. So only at this stage, so it is a better platform to creating the creative as well as innovative ideas as well as solutions. So next we move on to the rules for ideations. So the first one is to bring forward multiple ideas. So at that stage, so the team members, they are jointly together to collecting a multiple ideas about the particular complex problems. So and in that stage there is there are no bad ideas. Each and every ideas are welcomed in that particular stages. So there is no good as well as bad ideas at that stage. As well as they have to capture during that idea generations, they have to capture everything at that is, so they have to look over the problems in all the aspects, in all the degree, that is 360-degree angle. They have to look out the problem in all the aspects, that is they are capturing everything. And second, they can go for hybrid brainstorming, so in which they are using both individual brainstorming as well as the collective and team brainstorming sessions. Likewise, so they are using two different types of brainstorming sessions, both individual as well as the team brainstorming sessions. And quantity over quality, here they have to ensure only the more number of ideas only, not a quality based ideas. And finally, creating a relaxed environment. So and then next there are some techniques which is used for the idea generations. So in which the first technique is a brainstorming. So brainstorming, it is one of a group activity, it's a group tech. So here a group creative techniques which efforts are made to find conclusions for the specific problems by gathering list of ideas. That is the group of peoples, they are all discuss among themselves and they are creating multiple ideas, so in order to solve the particular problems. So and then the next technique for the ideate process is a mind mapping. So the mind mapping is a visual ideations. It's mainly to encourage you to draw the connections between the different set of ideas or the informations. Mind mapping is one of the visual process as well as pictorial representations. So here they have to connected what are all the different sets of ideas are gathered together, and then they have to connected with one over the others. So this is about the mind mapping process. So and then next we move on to the important stages in the design thinking process, that is prototype. So the prototype, it is a visual as well as the draft version of the product that allow you to explore the ideas. So here the ideas must be translated into a visual form or the draft model of the particular product. So as well as a prototype is a scaled down version of the final product that can used to test how well the solutions work into practice. So by using these prototype methods, so we can easily identify how our solutions can be worked into practice. That is how it has come into reality, how the ideas are translated into a reality. As well as, so prototype, it may be in any kind of forms. It may be either a simple sketch, or it may be a storyboards, or it may be a rough paper type of prototypes. The prototype, it may be a sketching, it may be any form of sketches, or it may be a working model, or it may be a rough paperboard prototype like this. And then, so at the last stage of the design thinking processes is testing. So in the fifth stage, that is the last stage, in the stage of design thinking, so we test a prototype with the user and potentially with the other stakeholders. So after the development of the prototype, that prototype, it is given to the end user in order to test whether the prototype it can be satisfy the end user or not. So for that cases, the testing process is very much much helpful. So as well as by capturing the honest response as well as feedback from the end users, so they have to once the feedback is good means, so they can go they can move on to the further process. Once the feedback is they are giving certain suggestions means, so once again they can reframing their ideas, or then they can reframing the prototype process until they get the expected outcomes. Likewise, they have to redo the process until they are getting the better solution for that particular problems. So as well as so with the help of these feedback as well as insights, they analyze the effectiveness as well as the impact of the prototype and then refine the ideas accordingly. So based upon the feedback of the honest end users, so they can redefine the prototype, or else once the feedback is better means they can move on to the next stage, that process. And then let's we move on to the summary. So let's we know design thinking is one of the systematic approach to solve the complex problems. So hence design thinking, it's mainly helpful for the solving the complex problem. It is one of the problem solving method. And second one is the design thinking, it consists of 5 different stages. The first one is empathize, define, ideate, prototype and test. In this empathize, so we should think over the problems in the audiences as well as customer and end user point of view. As well as in define phase, we should define the based upon the inputs from the empathize phase, we should define the problem statement clearly. And then third one is ideate. In that phases, we are generating multiple ideas in order to get a solution for that particular problems. And then prototype, it is a draft version of the product that allow to explore our ideas. That is, we have to translate our idea into a rough working model or a sketch in order to get a solutions. And finally test. So once the prototype is designed, that prototype is given to the end user. That end user once they are using that particular prototype model, so based and they are giving the feedback about that product, so based upon the feedback, so they can do further process in that particular process. This is about the testing phase. So hence design thinking process is one of the human centric process, because during each and every stages, like creating solution for a problems, they should think over the end user as well as customer in their mind. So hence the design thinking process is a human centric approach. So thank you.